So there have been some talk on Star Wars Twitter about comparing Andor and the Obi-Wan Kenobi series in terms of success. And honestly, that's like comparing apples and oranges. Let me explain why. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series was the most watched Disney Plus series ever. According to Disney Plus, of course. That's an issue here, is streaming services don't give us the amount of data like we had with Nielsen back in the day, where it was clear and it was a third-party reporting because those networks were trying to get advertisers and they had to give them accurate reports. I looked online, I was trying to figure out where Andor lied in the streaming ring. And I saw a lot of conflicting reports. Some had She-Hulk as number one multiple weeks, others had Andor, so we don't really know. Some other people gauge the success of a show based on how much it's talked about in social media. And that's something that you can't really compare Andor with Obi-Wan Kenobi, because Obi-Wan Kenobi is something that we had been waiting for 17 years. 17 years. For years before it was officially confirmed, interviewers would ask Ewan if he would be willing to come back. Thank you, interviewers, for keeping that alive. And he would always be very excited. And that got the attention of Lucasfilm and Disney. And eventually, 5 years ago, we got confirmation that we were getting an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, I believe it was. And then eventually it turned into a series after Disney Plus was announced. So you have Ewan McGregor and you have Hayden Christensen back after 17 years from Revenge of the Sith. And I know a lot of people hate on the prequels, but for a lot of millennials like me and my friends, we love them. We think they're an absolute blast, and we love Ewan and Hayden so much. And something also interesting about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and this is just my personal experience, is with my friends and family who are like, I don't like using the word casual fans, but not like, they're not crazy Star Wars fans like I am and some of my friends, where we have to watch all the movies and TV series and books and do that on repeat a lot. I'm calling myself out. Anyways, a few of my family and friends who have just seen the movies and they saw them once and they enjoyed them. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series is the only TV series they've watched. Yes, they know who Baby Yoda is, but they haven't seen an episode of The Mandalorian. Personally, my father specifically asked to watch the Obi-Wan Kenobi series with me, since as a child he took me to the prequels and even the special editions in 1997. He said, for old time's sake, let's watch this together. And my father has not seen any of The Mandalorian, which is odd because he loves Pedro Pascal. I need to get him to watch The Mandalorian. I know parents who are waiting to see how Andor goes and exactly what kind of content is in it to show to their elementary school age kids, because it is very grown up and it's something they want to see before they show it to them. Unlike the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which was for all ages, really. Why the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is unlike anything else out there, and it's because of nostalgia. You can't underestimate nostalgia. And you also can't underestimate the power of these characters. Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Princess Leia, 3 of the main characters from the very first Star Wars movie ever. And even people who haven't seen Star Wars or haven't seen Star Wars in years, they know who Darth Vader is. They know Princess Leia. They know those buns. You can't compare it to anything else. Star Wars is a cultural phenomenon, especially the original trilogy. And the marketing for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series focused on Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen reuniting and us seeing this moment that was 17 years in the making. And that was huge. And of course, little Princess Leia, one of the most iconic characters in film history as a child. It was a lot. It was a moment. All kinds of Star Wars fans had feelings about it, so it was constantly being talked about in social media. Because again, that nostalgia. Why else is Disney making those live action remakes every year? It seems nobody's asking for them, but they're making bank. Can I say making bank? As a 30-something-year-old, can I say making bank? Okay, they're making money. We also have to think about Star Wars fatigue. It is real. I have suffered from it. Yes, me. I have seen every Star Wars movie in the theaters, including the Clone Wars. The only Star Wars movie I have not seen in theaters is Solo. Solo came out a few months after The Last Jedi, and I don't know if I was Star Wars fatigued. I also just got a new dog. He's so cute. You don't really blame me. But I think a lot of people just needed a break. It's a lot of Star Wars. It feels like we just got Obi-Wan Kenobi, so people get overwhelmed. Also, think about the other shows that are on right now. Just on Disney Plus, we also have She-Hulk, which is doing great, and also I love. We have Game of Thrones 2, Song Dragon thingy. I don't watch it because I heard it would make me sad. Lord of the Rings series, these are some epic shows. And I know the Kenobi series also had some competition too, and The Boys and Stranger Things. You have to remember, one, The Boys is a vastly different audience, and two, Stranger Things dropped all at once. There wasn't a weekly release like these other powerhouse TV shows that are currently on. Another hypothesis I've seen about why people aren't watching the Andor series is because we already know what's going to happen to him. We've seen Rogue One. We watched this film before. We know how it ends. And again, that is crazy, because that would mean no one would go see any prequel ever, including the Star Wars prequels. Because we know how Anakin and Obi-Wan's story ends. We know how the Kenobi story ends. But it's all about this journey to see the path of how all these characters came to be. I personally do think Andor is a slow burn kind of series, especially the first few episodes. It takes a little while to really pick up the pace because it is building these worlds, and the payoff so far has been amazing. The announcement just came out at the time I'm recording this, and I didn't think they could get better after the eye. It's worth it. It definitely is. And maybe some people are waiting to binge it all at once. And I also do know there are some people who wait till a series is complete, and then they just subscribe for the month, watch the series, maybe watch a few other movies, and then unsubscribe until there's something else they want to see. This is, of course, not a comment on either of the series, of their quality, of the writing, of anything. This is just how general audiences perceive these series. It doesn't make either of them good or bad. It's just perception and the way they're marketed and how nostalgia can really work to make money and how nostalgia can really make people tune in. So The Mandalorian Boba Fett also did better. The Mandalorian has Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, and I'm sorry, but that kid is a marketer's dream. It's a merchandiser's dream too. That puppet creature baby, that is a blessing. And Boba Fett, again, is a character who was only in a few scenes in the original trilogy, but made such a big impact by his super cool suit. So my prediction is Andor is going to be a sleeper hit. One of those kind of cult classics, which is very hard to quantify when we don't have the data behind views, streaming. I think it is something that's going to be very bingeable for people. And I think it will be looked on fondly. And I think the rest of the season must be pretty good because Disney already approved season 2. They have faith in this. They would not put money behind this project if they weren't making any in return. Andor may never reach the heights of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. It will never reach the amount of talk on YouTube, Twitter, other social media. It will be successful. It's successful now. And just because people aren't talking about it on the water cooler and people aren't making memes like they were with Baby Yoda, doesn't mean it's not successful. It doesn't mean there's not a lot of people enjoying it. This grown-up storytelling is different, and people always shy away from different. So it might take a little while to get everyone on board. But I think once they try it, they might like it. But if they don't, we got Mandalorian Season 3 coming next year, and then the Ahsoka series. And you know what? That's the great thing about Star Wars. You can not like one thing and love something else. There's always going to be something for you. And that doesn't make you any more or less of a Star Wars fan, if you do. So may the Force be with you.